Welcome children. Today's topic is torque acting on a dipole in a uniform electric field. So consider a uniform electric field. So whenever field lines are parallel, that indicates the field is uniform. So here also uniform electric field, and here we are placing a dipole in this uniform electric field. Okay, and this dipole makes an angle theta with the direction of electric field. So a dipole consists of two equal and opposite charges. It consists of two equal and opposite charges plus q and minus q separating by a short distance 2a, and this dipole is placed in a uniform electric field making some angle theta with the direction of electric field. So this dipole consists of two charges, two equal and opposite charges plus q and minus q separating by a short distance 2a, and this dipole is placed in a uniform electric field making an angle theta with the direction of electric field. Okay, so here these plus q and minus q are equal and opposite charges. So there will be a force acting on these two charges. Okay, this plus q charge will be exerted by a force. Similarly, minus q charge also will be experienced by a force. And we have the formula for electric field. E equals force per unit charge, F by Q. So from this, how will you find force experienced by the charge? F equals E into Q. So this E into Q or Q into E is the force experienced on this charge, which one? Plus Q as well as minus Q. So this force experienced on plus Q charge is given as plus QE. That is F equals plus QE. So it will be acting in this direction. So this plus Q will be experienced by a force, and that force is given by plus QE. Similarly, a force will be experienced on which charge? Minus Q charge. So it is given by minus Q into E. So minus QE is the force experienced on which one? Charge minus Q. Okay. And see, these two forces are equal and opposites. They will be acting in opposite directions. The magnitude is same. The magnitude of both the force will be same, but they will be acting in opposite directions. So what about the net force acting here? It may be 0, because the net force F can be written as F equals QE plus here what is the force? Minus QE. That means what is the net force here? 0. So the net force acting on this dipole placed in a uniform electric field is 0, since these two forces are acting in opposite directions. The magnitude is same, but they are in opposite direction. So what about the net force acting on this dipole? It is 0. Okay. Now, the net force is 0, but there will be a torque acting on this dipole. That means there may be a rotation effect. So this plus Q will be experienced by a force on this side, and this minus Q will be experienced by a force in opposite direction, and this may cause this dipole to rotate. Okay. And this coupled force will create a torque on this dipole. That means rotating, but torque means rotating effect on the dipole. Okay, and this torque is given by, so how will you find this torque? Torque equals magnitude of any one force. Magnitude of any one force into perpendicular distance between the line of action of force. Line of action of force. So the net force acting on this dipole is 0, but there may be a rotation effect on this dipole. Since equal and opposite forces acting in both the ends on the dipole, this may create a rotation on this dipole, and that may create which one? Torque. So torque is the rotating effect on this dipole. This couple of force will exert a rotating effect on this dipole, and that is given by magnitude of any one force into perpendicular distance between the line of action of force. This magnitude of force already we know. What is the force here? Q into E. And this perpendicular distance means I am drawing a perpendicular here from this end. So this is a perpendicular. And this is the line of action of which force? Plus QE charge. Okay, plus QE force. And here this side, this is the line of action of which force? Minus QE. Okay, so we have to find the perpendicular distance between these two forces. Okay, that means this much distance we have to find out. This is the perpendicular distance between the line of action of both the forces. So we can write here as tau equals magnitude of any one force. That means you can write as Q into E. No need of putting any signs since we are taking only the magnitude. Into, we have to find the perpendicular distance between the line of action of force. This is the line of action of plus QE and this is the line of action of minus Q, and we have to find which one? This perpendicular distance. Then we can find from this triangle. So we can see a triangle here. So from this triangle I am finding sin theta. So sin theta equals, this opposite side is a perpendicular distance. Okay, that we have to find out. The perpendicular distance divided by hypotenuse. What is the hypotenuse here? 2a. That is length of the dipole. Okay, 2a. So from this, what is perpendicular distance? Is given as 2a into sin theta. So I am substituting instead of perpendicular distance, I can substitute which value here? 2a into sin theta. That is equivalent to, so I am taking this 2a into q first. 2a into q, remaining we have e sin theta. And what is this 2a into q? Charge into distance. What is charge into distance? Dipole moment. So P, instead of 2a into q, we can write as P into E into sin theta. So we got the torque as how much? P is sin theta, or we can write this one in terms of cross product. That means vector P cross which one? Vector E. Vector P cross vector E. That is cross product of P and E. So whenever we are taking cross product of two numbers A cross B, how can we write this? AB into sin theta. Two vectors. I have taken two vectors A and B. So vector A cross vector B means AB into sin theta. Similarly here two vectors are vector P and vector E. Here E is the electric field and P is the dipole moment. So P cross E means P into sin theta. So instead of P into sin theta, what we can write down? Vector P cross vector E. Okay. Now when theta equals 0, when theta equals 0, that means this alignment theta is taken as 0, then what about the torque here? Tau equals PE into sin 0. So what is the value of sin 0? 0. So this torque will be 0 whenever theta is 0. Theta is 0 means this dipole moment P, this dipole as well as electric field are in the same direction. Both are parallel. Okay. The direction of dipole moment and this electric field both are in same direction. So at that time theta equal to 0, and whenever theta equal to 0, torque is 0. That means minimum. Torque 0 means minimum torque. Minimum torque at which condition? When this P and E are parallel. Vector P and E are parallel. When dipole moment and electric field are parallel to each other, at that time what will happen to the torque? Torque equals 0. Then similarly when theta equals 90 degree, that means P and E are perpendicular. Dipole moment and electric field are perpendicular. Perpendicular, so at that time what happened to this torque? Tau equals PE into sin 90. So what is sin 90 value? 1. That means we will be getting PE. Torque equals PE, that is the maximum value of torque. Maximum torque. So whenever dipole is parallel to the electric field, at that time torque is 0. And whenever this dipole is perpendicular to the electric field, at that time torque is maximum. And this maximum value is given by how much? P into E. So this P is the dipole moment and E is the electric field. So this is the torque experienced by a dipole in uniform electric field. Next is electric flux. So electric flux is the number of electric field lines crossing a surface normal to its area. So it is the number of electric field lines crossing a surface normal to its area. Okay. Suppose I have taken one surface here. So S is the total surface and I have taken a small area here, ds. So ds is a small area on this surface, yes. And I want to find the flux through this small surface ds. This flux symbol is given as phi. So phi is the symbol for electric flux. And we want to, first of all, we want to find the flux through this small surface ds, that is taken as d phi. So d phi is the flux through this small surface, small area ds of this total surface S. That is given as the dot product of which one? Electric field vector E dot this area vector, that is vector ds. So this n cap indicates the direction of which one? Ds vector. This indicates the direction of area vector ds vector. So it is given as d phi equals vector E dot vector ds, that is the dot product of electric field and area vector. This n cap indicates the direction of area vector. That is equivalent to, we know what is vector A dot B. So A dot B can be written as AB into cos theta. So here also we can write vector E dot vector ds means E ds cos theta. E ds cos theta. This is the flux, electric flux through a small surface ds. Suppose we want to find the flux through the whole surface. Yes, that is given by phi. So phi is the total flux out of the surface. It is given as close the surface integral. This indicates close the surface integral. Okay, close the surface integral, which one? E dot E ds. So this phi is the total flux through the whole surface. Yes, that is given by close the surface integral vector E dot vector ds. So here in the first figure, how will you find the flux? I want to find the flux through the small surface ds. So how will you find here? D phi equals, what is the formula? Vector E dot vector ds. Vector E is the direction of electric field and ds vector indicates the direction of area vector. This n cap indicates the direction of area vector. That is given by, what is the formula? E ds into cos angle between electric field vector E and n cap. What is the angle here? Theta. So cos theta. So this is the formula here. And for the second figure, how will you find the flux? D phi. D phi equals, formula is vector E dot vector ds, that is equivalent to E into ds into cos angle between vector E and vector n cap. There is no angle here. So that means angle is how much here? 0. So cos 0 value is 1. So we will be getting E ds. So this is the maximum value of flux. The maximum value of flux is at which position? Whenever electric field and area vector are parallel. So whenever area vector is parallel to which one? Electric field. So whenever area vector is parallel to electric field, so what will happen to the flux? Flux will be maximum and it is given by how much here? E into ds. Similarly, in the last condition, the last case, the flux is given by d phi equals vector E dot ds. That means E ds cos angle between vector E and vector n cap. What is the angle here? 90 degree. So what is the value of cos 90? Cos 90 value is 0. That means flux will be 0. So this is the minimum value of flux. So minimum value of flux at which condition? Whenever area vector is perpendicular to electric field. So whenever area vector is perpendicular to electric field, the flux will be minimum, that is 0. The maximum value is how much here? E into ds. That is whenever this area vector and this electric field both are parallel. Okay, at that time we will be getting the maximum electric flux. Okay. Next is Gauss's law in electrostatics. Gauss is the name of a scientist and he explains about the electric flux around a closed surface. So this electric flux through a closed surface is given by 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed by the surface. The electric flux through a closed surface is given by 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed by the surface. So see here, flux symbol is phi. So this electric flux through this whole surface is given by 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed by the surface. So here I have taken a surface S and this plus q is the charge enclosed by the surface S. So this electric flux through this whole surface is given by 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed by the surface. This is called as which one? Gauss's law in electrostatics. So here I have taken a surface S, spherical surface, okay, and having radius. This spherical surface is having a radius r. So radius is taken as r here, and plus q is a positive point charge placed at the center of this spherical surface. And this spherical surface can be called as the Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface. That is the surface around this charge. So where we are finding this electric flux, that is called as Gaussian surface. So we have taken a spherical Gaussian surface here. This S is considered as a spherical Gaussian surface, and plus Q is the positive charge placed at the center of this Gaussian surface. And we are considering a small surface area ds. Small surface area ds on this whole surface S. So S is the total surface, and we have taken a small surface area here ds. Then this electric field at each and every point is normal to the surface. This pointing outwards, normally outwards. So this electric field at each and every point on the surface is given by E equals, what is the formula for electric field? 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 into charge by distance square. So what is the charge here? Q divided by what is the distance from the center to the surface? R. Radius is taken as R here. So Q by R square. And this electric field is acting normally outward from the surface. And similarly, I have taken a small surface area here ds, and this ds vector also will be acting normally outwards. That means vector ds and vector electric field, vector E, both are acting in same direction. It is radially acting radially outwards. So outwards it is acting. Clear? Now we have to find the flux through the small surface ds. So I will define flux for the small surface d phi equals, what is the formula? E dot ds. The flux through the small surface ds is given by d phi equals E dot ds, that is equivalent to E into ds into cos theta. E into ds into cos theta, or we can simply write E dot ds. Now we have to find which one? The total flux through the whole surface. That means phi equals integral E dot ds. That is equivalent to integral E ds cos theta. But here I told you both vector E and vector ds are in same direction. That means what is the value for cos theta here? That is cos 0. That is integral E ds cos 0. What is the value of cos 0? 1. That means you will be getting flux phi as integral E ds. Okay. Now, so this electric field is uniform everywhere. I told you the electric field is same at each and every point on the surface. Okay, so what is the electric field here? 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square. So this phi can be written as phi equals, this E I am taking outside because it is a constant. So this E I am taking outside. Remaining closed integrals. We can take here closed integral E dot ds. So this closed integral ds. That means we are summating all these ds. So many ds will constitute which one? The total surface S. So instead of this closed integral ds, we can write here simply as S. That means total surface area. That is equivalent to E into S. If phi equals E into S. That is equal to, what is E here? 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square into S is the total surface area of the sphere. So what is the surface area of a sphere? 4 pi R square. 4 pi R square is the surface area of a sphere. So this 4 pi cancel, R square cancel. Remaining we are getting Q by epsilon 0. That is phi equals Q by epsilon 0. This proves which one? Gauss's theorem. Gauss's law in electrostatics. This proves Gauss's law in electrostatics. That means electric flux through a closed surface is 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed by the surface. So for a closed surface, for the positive flux will be going outward. The outward flux may be positive and inward flux will be always negative. So whenever flux is going outward flux indicates which one? Positive, and this inward flux indicates negative. And here this Gauss's theorem states that the electric flux through a closed surface is 1 by epsilon 0 times the charge enclosed by this surface. So this outward flux is always positive and inward flux is always which one? Negative. It's this much about the Gauss's theorem, and remaining we can study in the next video.